Hey guys, Zar here. Hope all is well. It's 6:43 a.m. and I am watching the Nasdaq here during the London session, and looking for a close here into this fresh zone. If you can hear my cat in the background, that's Pickles. He's meowing a lot this morning. We had some guests yesterday working on our television boxes, upgrading 3 of them, and he's not happy with strangers coming into into the home, and the next morning he always acts up for a while. So he's mowing his head off in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear. You probably can't, but if you can, that's what it is. You'll be okay. 20 seconds left. That's the Nasdaq. I'm going to show you the S&P here. Something similar, and then of course the Dow. It's the 15-minute chart, by the way. I normally use a 30. I just wanted to drop down. Okay, so we close back in the range. I'm going to put you on pause for now. Just want to set the stage for the way I'm thinking here. You're early morning, but I'm going to put you on pause and bring you back if anything materializes here. Pause now. My microphone. Here we go. We're back, guys. Watching the Nasdaq here. Looks like it wants to drop down. What you just saw there on those screens while I was on pause is the my trading screens. Is the daily chart up in the top left-hand side. A 15 or a 30-minute chart. This is the 15 down here in the bottom left, and then a lower time frame. A 3, a 2, or a 1. In this case, it's a 1. Let me drop to the 3, or rise to the 3, if you will. Yeah, we'll leave it on 3 minutes for now. And I'm going to bring you back to focus on the 15 minutes as we attempt to break down into this next open range here, which is fairly clean, given this is the overnight. This is the announcements on earnings that came out after the close. The close was actually at or near the low of the day. And then it was after hours that spiked up like that. Watching now. As a matter of fact, guys, I'm looking to go short here. Now, I know that regular trading hours are not open yet. It's only 6:53 a.m. Those hours only open at 9:30. So this is really very much in the European session. I'd be looking for about 44 points here. Sell stop limit, guys, right now. Sell stop order to be activated if we break below that wick you see there. We're going to watch this together. I'm going to mute the microphone for 1 minute as I take care of my cat. But if we cross that, I'm going to get triggered in. Maybe I'll wait here for a second before I do that. Nope, put you on mute. You'll see it happen. All right, I'm back, guys, and I'm short the NASDAQ. And sorry for that little break there. As I mentioned, my cat gets a little anxious the day after we have strangers over. I guess he can smell them. It's quite, simple. People wearing different body sprays and perfumes and colognes and what have you, and it lingers. We can't smell it, obviously, but he seems to be able to because he hides under the bed, and then the next day he will actually track where they have been, and of course he didn't see where they were, so it's quite fascinating, but an amazing sense of smell. All right, pushing down now, guys. Let me just give you the trade idea here. We are very bearish, or we were, I should say, on the daily. Yesterday's bearish close, we rallied strongly after the close, right? As I mentioned with those earnings. But yesterday's closing candle was extremely bearish, took out 17 trading days of lows. And this is where the VIX has been below 20, as a matter of fact, below 17 for many of those days, or several of those days. And then we had that spike up on earnings. But it looks like this thing does, in fact, want to go a little bit lower here. And if it does, well, we're playing it here from the lower time frame. So bearish daily. Now bearish on the 15-minute and the 30-minute. Let me show you the 30-minute. See, there's the 30. Breaking down below, and there's two and a half minutes, call it, until this candle closes in that fresh zone, which makes it even more bearish, right? A higher time frame, even a double candle, so 2 15s equal to 30, closing in that fresh range is more bearish than just a 15-minute. Hopefully that makes sense. There's back to the 15-minute again. And then, of course, on the lower time frame, this is the 3-minute, you'll see how we rejected at or near VWAP earlier today in the European session, and then driving down. A lot of times you see here, and all through here, prices will react and or reject or pause sometimes at or near VWAP, the volume weighted average price of all transactions that occurred in the futures trading session. Session starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night. It's now, of course, 6:58 a.m. So 12 hours worth of, 13 hours almost of market action here. And that's the volume weighted average price right up there. It's now, of course, here, this little piece there. No, I'm speaking in very simplistic terms, and I'm doing it on purpose. Because what I like to teach is simplifying the complex world of trading and investing by really getting back to first principles and using Occam's razor to cut out all of the unnecessary stuff that we have historically believed to be important in trading and investing, swing trading and investing, and day trading. Much of it is, quite frankly, nonsense. And if you stick around and continue to engage in the expanding content here on the YouTube channel, but also in my Telegram group, which is free, you'll hear more about that. For those who are new, I'm a fourth decade trader, veteran, chartered market technician, technical analyst, 26 years CMT, but 35 years plus active trading. I was a technical analyst before getting the designation, learning from the early, Edwards and McGee, Schaubacher, Victor Sperandeo, John Murphy, many of the Martin Pring, the originals, Ed Seykota, in the world of technical analysis. 25-year practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, which has played a great part in my mental game technologies and understanding. Not all of NLP is useful in my book, but there are a few models that are incredibly powerful once we understand them, install them, apply them, and you'll hear more about that too. In the meantime, if you're new to the channel, I encourage you to listen to the first 5 or 6 videos in the Mental Game playlist on my YouTube channel. It's the Mental Game playlist. For me, and as far as I'm concerned, the most important aspect. I have over about 400 videos just since October when I started. Started this channel in October. Started on social media as an older man in October, but I've produced, I believe it's nearly 400 videos already. Many of them trading videos or live trading. When I say live, recorded from before I enter to the exit, beginning to end, and a bunch of live streaming as well, trading real-time live. That's all there for you. But most people will focus on the trading videos, and unfortunately that is the least important part. It's the sexiest part. I'm not saying my videos are sexy, they're quite boring, but that's what people want to learn. Is like, you know, entries, exits, setups, systems, models, price action, and so on. And that's important to understand. You need a basic understanding of price action, but that's all. Once you have that, this game is 100% mental game, trading psychology. And I know that many people will say, yeah, no, of course it's all trading psychology, but they don't behave like that because they focus on all the wrong things. There's a reason why between 90 and 100% of day traders lose money. It's because they are not playing the real game. The real game of trading is a game of impulse control. Nothing more, nothing less. Driving down a bit here now. First trade of the day, probably goes without saying, given that it's only, again, it was 6:45, I think, when we started here. Approximately 6:50, I think. I've been up since 1:45 a.m. For many years traded both London and New York. I'm trying to only trade New York now, and but my internal sleep clock is so strong that I still wake up between 1:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 a.m. is the open of London, by the way, for New York time, Eastern Standard Time. And my internal clock is so strong. I don't use an alarm, don't need it. Certainly don't need it. And it just wakes me up and I usually get going, but I am trying to shift that over to a more normal schedule. I start my Telegram group at 5 to 6 a.m. And we talk about earnings and things that are coming up in the day and go from there. All right, guys, I'll put you on pause for now, save you the sideways grind, and I'll bring you back. Pause. And pushing down some more here, guys. You'll see that daily looking nice and bearish now, having rejected on this upper wick, and then driving down a blue candle now, hitting new lows for the day. Again, the New York session, of course, hasn't even opened yet. It won't do so for another 2.5 hours. Just going to mark the high and low of yesterday. I like to do that just as a visual. I mean, I can clearly see it, obviously. But you'll see we have that break there. Price is moving down now, looking for 44 points here, guys. I'm going to make it an even 40. Let's keep this simple. Delete that, move this marker over. Copy and paste. There it is. I'm just going to shift it so that that's the actual entry. Yes, it is. Very good. Bring my stop down now. Stop is at 9.55. Yeah, there it is. One more push, guys, and this will be over, hitting the promised land. Not sure if we're going to get it, but we'll see. This is feeling decidedly bearish now, of course. Perhaps a continuation of that big bearish move we had yesterday after a little party or celebration on those earnings after the close. And then a resumption of the sentiment that drove this bearishness. Something that we do see very often. Looking for 40 points here, guys. There it is. All right, waiting patiently here, guys. 40. There it is. Now, of course, you know, this is just a trade marker. I trade from a different platform, which has terrible charting, whereas TradingView, of course, is amazing charting. So I illustrate my trades from here. It's so much nicer. And my trading platform, fortunately, I have very good spreads and commissions, but the charting is terrible. So many of you've heard me talk about what broker I use. I'm not going to say it today, given that I just trashed the the charting platform. I think they know. They probably hear it from a lot of people. I'll put you back on pause here for now, guys. All right, trying to flip down again here. Change into a blue candle. There it is. This is the 15-minute chart again, guys, on the bottom left-hand side. I'm going to change that back to a 30, which is the time frame I typically use. I dropped to the 15 to get a better entry, but you can see it there. That's the 30 driving down. And struggling to get beyond this piece right here, guys. This is where price is rejected a little bit. Let me show this to you. Actually, this is quite interesting on the 15-minute chart. You'll see it there. You see that pullback and then driving up. And so that there is where we're rejecting right now, right there. And that's a thing, guys. It's really a thing. Price is moving down now a little bit. Let's go back to the 30-minute so you can see the whole range here. And that's important graphic when I send this out to my group or post it on Twitter. I like to be able to show the context on the different time frames. There we go. One more push here, guys. You think we can get that? Are we asking too much? I don't think so. Patience, guys. This is the real game. Amateur would take profits now because they can't stand the wait. I'll just take it off the table and say, okay, at least I made money. Or you can't go broke taking profits. And this is absolutely not true. That's precisely how many traders do go broke. It's taking profits too early, but allowing a full loss, right? When you allow full losses and take profits short, in other words, take them easy, take them early, the math doesn't work long term. Patience now. By the way, when I say those things, patience and the way I speak is for me, right? I'm talking to myself. I usually speak fairly softly and fairly quietly. I don't mean to, I hope you can hear me clearly, but I do that to manage my own emotional states because this is a game of impulse control. As I might have said 3 or 4 times in this video alone, and I will repeat it often because that's what this game really is all about. Repetition is the mother of skill, and I repeat that to myself, and hence you will hear it in my videos too. But when I'm sitting here saying patience, I'm very much directing my own psychology. I encourage you to do the same, since that's the game. I don't mean exactly the same method or modality, but to find your own, what works for you. It might be some relaxing music like I have in the background here. It might be your tone. It might be the way your self-talk, the way you sit, the way you breathe. Breathing is critical, by the way. I should do a series just on breathing alone, which is something that I do use in my own trading as well. The mindfulness quality to breathing has a feedback loop on your physiology. So when you breathe in a relaxed sort of fashion, causes your muscles and tendons to relax as well. All right, guys, trade is done. 40 points. Thank you very much for joining me. Have an amazing day. I'm sure we'll see you again. I mean, regular trading hours doesn't even open for another couple of hours, and we'll likely see you then. Take care, guys. Have an amazing one.